So let's talk about numeric arrays and multi-dimensional arrays. So first, I want to talk about what is an array. So here in VS Code, let me just explain real quick what I did. So I created this HTML page, and then I gave some classes to some tags, and then I reference JavaScript as an external file to so you just see the JavaScript instead of having both. So here's the JavaScript for that page, and let's start with the basics, which is a variable. So a variable holds one single value. So that's how it works. You create a variable saying let. So let is the keyword, and then you give this variable a name, and then it can be anything you want. So in this case, I call my variable value, but I could put here any word. And then this is the value of the variable called value. And just to make it simple, I can call it number. And then yeah, so this variable is called number, and the value of this variable called number is 1. And if I mention this variable somewhere, it's going to give me the value, which is 1. So here, let me change it to number. I'm referencing again the HTML. So this is what this line is doing, saying document. It's a keyword to tell JavaScript to go back to the HTML. And then query selector is a method. So real quick, method is a function that is already built in JavaScript. JavaScript already knows what to do when you use this keyword, this method. So query selector is this method that go try to find a class or an ID. So I just told JavaScript to look for this tag with S, and it is this one. And then text content, I'm saying, hey, put some text where this thing is, and this text is going to be this variable. So you see with this code, I go back to the page, and then I get this one. So here, single value. So this is how a variable works, one single value. But what if you want more than a single value, if you want a list? So that's when an array is. So here, numeric arrays, I did the same thing. I say let, and I give it a name. So in this case, it's numbers. And then instead of giving one value, I can give several values. And in this case, each value is called element. They have like this specific naming for things in programming. So pretty sure that when you have an array, each thing inside this array, each value is called element. So here you have this array. So you see the difference is just that I have these square brackets encasing everything. It starts and ends with a square bracket, and each element is separated by a comma. You see here the commas separating. And then with this, I can do the same thing here. See the query selector, I have a different thing selected. And now, since this is a array, I have to reference which item I want, which element. And I do this by telling them the index. So index is the position of the element inside the array. And in JavaScript, it starts with 0. So the first element is the 0, 1. So this stands 0 into, so it's 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I say numbers, the name of the array, and then number 2, it's 1, 2, 3 is actually the third one. So it's gonna print out the 30. Let's see. So here, see, number 30. Okay. Now let's talk about the multi-dimensional arrays. So numeric arrays is just one single list. And then multi-dimensional arrays, you have a list, and you can have something inside the list that is also a list. So you see here, I have the same thing, a variable with the name here, but now the value of this variable is an array. So you see here, it starts with this yellow, orange square bracket, and then inside this square bracket, there is another square bracket. So the first element is an array. The second element is also an array, and the third one is also an array. You see these arrays have this purple square bracket. It helps for you to see like what is inside what. So this is called multi-dimensional array. In this specific case is 2D, two-dimensional array. Is an array that is inside another array, two-dimensional. And there's others type of multi-dimensional arrays, but the one I understood it better is this one, and it's also the most common one. So if you want to reference things in a 2D array, that's how you do it. Same thing here, but you see that now I have to specify two indexes. So the first index and the second is like it's going to be inside an element, and inside the element is gonna look for the index inside the element. So in this case, I'm saying 1 and 2. So remember, the first one is 0, so it's 0, 1. So it's going to be this element, and inside this element is going to look for element number 2. So it's 0, 1, 2 is actually the third one. So this line is going to print out the number 6. So you see here, number 6.